Hi, first graders. Today we're going to read from chapter 4, Ramona and the Apples. Mother, I'm home, Beezus called as she burst into the house one afternoon after school. Mother appeared wearing her hat and coat and carrying a shopping list in her hand. She kissed Beezus. How was school today? She asked. All right, we studied about Christopher Columbus, said Beezus. Did you, dear? Said Mother absent-mindedly. I wonder if you'd mind keeping an eye on Ramona for a half hour or so while I do the marketing. She was up so late last night, I let her have a long nap this afternoon, and I wasn't able to go until she woke up. All right, I'll look after her, agreed Beezus. I told her she could have 2 marshmallows, said Mother, as she left the house. Ramona came out of the kitchen with a marshmallow in each hand. Her nose was covered with white powder. What's Christopher Columbus? She asked. Christopher Columbus, Beezus corrected. Come here, Ramona. Let me wipe off your nose. No, said Ramona, backing away. I just powdered it. Closing her eyes, Ramona pounded one of the marshmallows against her nose. Powdered sugar flew all over her face. These are my powder puffs, she explained. Beezus started to tell Ramona not to be silly. She'd get all sticky, but then decided it would be useless. Ramona never minded being sticky. Instead, she said, Christopher Columbus is the man who discovered America. He was trying to prove that the world was round. It is? Ramona sounded puzzled. She beat the other marshmallow against her chin. Why, Ramona, don't you know the world is round? Beezus asked. Ramona shook her head and powdered her forehead with a marshmallow. Well, the world is round, just like an orange, Beezus told her. If you could start out and travel in a perfectly straight line, you would come right back where you started from. I would? Ramona looked as if she didn't understand this at all. She also looked as if she didn't care much, because she went right on powdering her face with her marshmallows. Oh, well, thought Beezus, there's no use trying to explain it to her. She went into their bedroom to change from her school clothes into her play clothes. As usual, she found Ramona's doll Bendix lying on her bed, and with a feeling of annoyance, she tossed it across the room to Ramona's bed. When she had changed her clothes, she went into the kitchen, ate some graham crackers and peanut butter, and helped herself to 2 marshmallows. If Ramona could have 2, it was only fair that she should have 2 also. After eating the marshmallows and licking the powdered sugar from her fingers, Beezus decided that reading about Big Steve would be the easiest way to keep Ramona from thinking up some mischief to get into while Mother was away. Come here, Ramona, she said as she went into the living room. I'll read to you. There was no answer. Ramona was not there. That's funny, thought Beezus, and went into the bedroom. The room was empty. I wonder where she could be, said Beezus to herself. She looked in Mother and Father's room. No one was there. Ramona, she called. No answer. Ramona, where are you? Still no answer. Beezus was worried. She did not think that Ramona had left the house because she had not heard any doors open and close. Still, with Ramona, you never knew. Maybe she was hiding. Beezus looked under the beds. No Ramona. She looked in the bedroom closets, the hall closet, the linen closet, even the broom closet. Still no Ramona. She ran upstairs to the attic and looked behind the trunks. Then she ran downstairs to the basement. Ramona, she called anxiously as she peered around in the dim light. The basement was an eerie place with its gray cement walls and the grotesque white arms of the furnace reaching out in all directions. Except for a faint sound from the pilot light, everything was silent. Suddenly, the furnace lit itself with such a whoosh that Beezus, her heart pounding, turned and ran upstairs. Even though she knew it was only the furnace, she could not help being frightened. The house seemed so empty when no one answered your calls. Uneasily, Beezus sat down in the living room to try to think while she listened to the silence. She must not get panicky. Ramona couldn't be far away, and if she didn't turn up soon, she would telephone the police, the way Mother did the time Ramona got lost because she started out to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Thinking of the rainbow reminded Beezus of her attempt to explain Ramona that the world is round like an orange. Ramona hadn't looked as if she understood, but sometimes it was hard to tell about Ramona. Maybe she understood the part about coming back where she started from. If Ramona set out to walk to the end of the rainbow, she could easily decide to try to walk around the world. That was exactly what she must have done. The idea frightened Beezus. How would she ever find Ramona? And what would Mother say when she came home and found Ramona gone? To think of Ramona walking in a straight line, hoping to go straight around the world and come back where she started from, trying to cross busy streets alone, honked by trucks, barked at by strange dogs, tired, hungry. But I can't just sit here, thought Beezus. I've got to do something. I'll run out and look down the street. She can't have gone far. At that moment, Beezus heard a noise. She thought it came from the basement, but she wasn't certain. Tiptoeing from the cold air intake in the hall, she bent over and listened. Sure enough, a noise so faint she could scarcely hear it came through the furnace pipe. So the house wasn't empty after all. Just wait until she got a hold of Ramona. Beezus snapped on the basement light and ran down the steps. Ramona, come out, she ordered. I know you're down there. The only answer was chomping sound from the corner of the basement. Beezus ran around the furnace, and there, in the dimly lit corner, sat Ramona eating an apple. Beezus was so relieved to see Ramona safe, at the same time so angry with her for hiding that she couldn't say anything. She just stood there, filled with the exasperated, mixed-up feeling that Ramona often gave her. Hello, said Ramona through a bite of apple. "Ramona Geraldine Quimby," exclaimed Beezus when she found her voice. "What do you think you're doing?" "Playing hide and seek," answered Ramona. "Well, I'm not," snapped Beezus. "It takes two to play hide and seek." "You found me," Ramona pointed out. Oh, once again, Beezus couldn't find any words. To think she had worried so, when all the time Ramona was sitting in the basement listening to her call, and eating an apple, too. As she stood in front of Ramona, Beezus' eyes began to grow accustomed to the dim light, and she realized what Ramona was doing. She stared, horrified, at what she saw. As if hiding were not enough, what would Mother say when she came home and found out what Ramona had been up to this time? Ramona was sitting on the floor beside a box of apples. Lying around her on the cement floor were a number of apples, each with one bite out of it. While Beezus stared, Ramona reached into the box, selected an apple, took one big bite out of the reddest part, and tossed the rest of the apple onto the floor. While she noisily chewed that bite, she reached into the apple box again. "Ramona!" cried Beezus, horrified. "You can't do that!" "I can too," said Ramona through her mouthful. "Stop it," ordered Beezus. "Stop it this instant. You can't eat one bite and then throw the rest away." "But the first bite tastes the best," explained Ramona reasonably as she reached into the box again. Beezus had to admit that Ramona was right. The first bite of an apple always did taste best. Ramona's sharp teeth were about to sink into another apple when Beezus snatched it from her. "That's my apple!" screamed Ramona. "It is not," said Beezus angrily, stamping her foot. "One apple is all you're supposed to have. Just wait till Mother finds out." Tomorrow we'll finish chapter 4.